Raymond Road Killer. On 22nd of August 1988, social worker Carol was on her way to work at the local psychiatric hospital in Putnam, Connecticut. As she drove along Beaumont Hollow Road, the driver of a black pickup truck in front of her started behaving erratically. He would abruptly brake after speeding up and cross the center line, almost scraping the sides of oncoming cars. Carol stayed behind the truck at a safe distance, but no one could have predicted the horror that was about to follow. The driver of the pickup suddenly stopped in the middle of the road, pulled out a gun and walked towards Carol's vehicle that had come to a stop as well. The man halted 10 feet from Carol and then shot her in the face. He jumped back into his truck and sped off, leaving Carol semi-conscious and partially paralyzed. A few minutes passed without anyone noticing Carol slumped behind her steering wheel. A utility truck passed by and its driver saw the strange angle at which Carol was positioned in her car, after which he immediately called the police and paramedics. Her carotid artery was severed and her face torn apart. Miraculously, Carol survived and she physically recovered well from the trauma. Her attacker was never found, however, even after more reports emerged of a driver in a black pickup taunting motorists on the Beaumont Hollow Road. Witnesses reported that the driver was a white male with curly brown hair, average build, and would be middle-aged today. The pickup was a step-side with flared fenders. The Shep Twins. On Friday, 28th January 2011, 6-year-old twins Alessia and Livia Shep were taken from their home in St. Sulpice, Switzerland by their father, Matthias. The following day, he sent a message to his ex-wife and the twins' mom, Irina, saying that he would bring them home Monday, 31st January. Instead, he took the twins and they crossed the border into France, after which Matthias sent Irina a postcard. Matthias was seen by several people and captured by cameras up until the 3rd of February 2011, after which he threw himself under a train in Italy. The last time anyone saw the twins, however, was on 31st of January when Matthias took them on a ferry that transported them from mainland France to Corsica. A letter written by Matthias dated 3rd of February 2011 stated that he had killed Alicia and Livia and that they did not suffer. Police established that Matthias had researched suicide, poison, and guns before taking the ferry trip and feared that the twins were indeed dead. However, no remains have ever been found to this day, and the little girl's ultimate fate is still a mystery. Susan Powell. Everything that happened after a neighbor left Susan Powell's home on the afternoon of December 6, 2009 was strange and ultimately tragic. The whole Powell family was reported missing on December the 7th by their relatives after Susan's mother-in-law and sister-in-law didn't find anyone when they arrived at the Powell home. Susan's husband, Joshua, arrived home in the late afternoon with their sons, Charles and Braden, in tow, claiming the three of them had been camping in Simpson Springs. On December 9th, police found small traces of Susan's blood in the Powell family home, as well as a letter written by Susan in which she expressed that she was afraid for her life. Braden, in the meantime, had drawn a picture of a van with 3 people inside while at a daycare and told the teacher that his mommy was in the trunk. Charlie, on the other hand, told police that he and his brother went camping with both his mom and dad, but that his mom didn't return with them. By December 10th, police had searched for and failed to find the campsite Joshua spoke of. During the investigation, a secret will and a very disturbing video made by Susan was discovered. It was also discovered that Joshua's father, Stephen, had been obsessed with Susan and took pictures of her without her knowing. Police were soon convinced that Joshua killed Susan and roped in his brother, Michael, to help him get rid of Susan's body. There wasn't enough evidence to charge them, however, and now police will never get the chance to, because on February 5, 2012, Joshua Powell attacked his two sons with a hatchet and then set off a gas leak explosion, killing them all. A year later, Michael Powell, Joshua's brother, jumped off a parking structure in Minneapolis and died on impact. The investigation in Susan Powell's disappearance has been closed without her body ever being found. Her family, on the other hand, hasn't given up hope and continues to search in the hope of gaining some small form of closure. The Beaumont Siblings. On January 26, 1966, the Beaumont siblings, 9-year-old Jane, 7-year-old Arna, and 4-year-old Grant, set off for a beach that was located just a few minutes from their home in Somerton Park, Adelaide, Australia. It was a hot day, and their mother Nancy didn't hesitate to give them permission to spend the day at the sea. The elated kids boarded a bus at around 10:10 in the morning, with Jane holding a copy of Little Women in her hand. They had a ball on the beach, and as an elderly lady watched them frolicking about, she saw a tall, blonde man in blue swim trunks watch them too. Then he approached them. The lady saw the children leave with him. Other witnesses saw the children at a cake shop, and apparently they bought a meat pie along with other treats, paying for their goods with a £1 note. Yet more witnesses saw the man in the blue trunks helping the kids get dressed after they were done playing around in the sprinklers at Collie Reserve. That was the last confirmed time the Beaumont children were ever seen. They never returned home. Police followed every single available lead from the start, but Nancy Beaumont unfortunately passed away in 2019 at the age of 92 without ever knowing what happened to her 3 children. The authorities never gave up and dug up an Adelaide factory site as recently as 2018 in the hopes of finding answers. They didn't find any new clues. The man in the blue trunks was never identified.